Hello and welcome back to part 2 of the music theory course I'm putting here on YouTube. This part deals with pitch and how to read pitch in the music notation. So let's get started. To start up here, I just want to talk about the different clefs. These are only two different types of clefs. There are several other types, but these are the two most common, so I'm just going to start with these two. At the top we have what is called a treble clef, and on the bottom we have the bass clef. These clefs tell us what the notes are on the lines and the spaces. If there were no clefs there, we wouldn't be able to say what note was on the first space or the third line or anywhere on there, because the clefs tell us what notes are going to go where. As I said before in the previous section of this course, the part 1, when these two are combined, it is called the grand staff, which is what is used for when you read music for piano or harpsichord or harp or any type of instrument that has a very large range, and you're going to need two staves there to be able to actually read all the different notes. Now, regardless of what clef there is on the staff will always have 5 lines and 4 spaces. So let's just go over what the notes are on those lines and spaces when it is a treble clef. On that bottom line we have an E, then we have F, then G, then A, B, C, D, E, F, all the way up there. So as you can see, there's kind of a pattern there. It goes in alphabetical order, going up. However, it only goes to the G, and then it will go back to A. So as you see, for the treble clef it starts on E, which may seem kind of strange, but that's just kind of the way it is for the treble clef. It starts on E, goes up to that. When it gets to the third line, it gets to the G, and then the next one on the space there will be an A, and it will start all over again. Now for the bass clef, it is going to start on a G on that bottom line and then continue with the alphabetical order up. It's A, B, C, D, E, F, G, and then another A on the top line there. So as the name would imply, bass is going to be lower and treble will be higher. And as you may notice from the two staves there seems to be some notes missing. Even when you put these two clefs here together, you end up with stopping at A on that top line of bass clef and then starting up on E on the treble clef. So there must be something in between, and that's where we get ledger lines. Now this may look really confusing at first, but I'm going to go over it best that I can. In the middle, I'm showing what the notes are in between the two staves there, which when you're looking at the treble clef and you go down from the E, so you're at the very bottom and then you actually go under the staff, you have a D. So the D doesn't actually need what is called a ledger line. The D can just simply sit under that staff and just be a note there. However, when you go one more below that and you get to that C, which is just kind of floating there right in the middle of the screen with a line through it, that line is a ledger line. As you can see there, all the notes are either going to be on a line or on a space. So we have to have some way of separating it then. Otherwise, if you just had the note heads, like I showed in the previous video for the rhythm things, and note heads would be here, not the actual letter names. I'm just showing the letter names to teach you the note names of them. But if you had the note heads there, you would have no way of really telling which note is which if you didn't have any ledger lines there in the middle. So you wouldn't be able to really tell if it was a D or a C, or below that C where the B is. You really wouldn't be able to tell. So that C right there in the middle is kind of the connecting point between the bass and the treble clefs there. Now going up off of the staff by going up off the treble or down below the bass, we also have ledger lines. as you can see on the treble, there is now a G just kind of sitting on top of the staff with no ledger line there. And then we have an A, which has one ledger line, and then we have a B that's sitting on top of a ledger line. So that's like if we had a space note, like looking anywhere in the staff, you have the notes just kind of sitting on top of the line. That's the same kind of thing that that B is doing. And then above that we have a C, which has two ledger lines. Now, even though that first ledger line there is empty, we still have to have it there, because otherwise if we just put one ledger line and drew a note head, we really couldn't tell if it was an A. Like, we wouldn't be able to tell that it was a C up there. We would think it would be an A, which has one ledger line going through the note. Going down to the bass clef, similar thing, just below it we have the F sitting there below the staff with no ledger line. And then we have an E, which has one ledger line, a D, which has one ledger line but is below that ledger line, and then a C, which has two ledger lines, just like on the treble clef. So now if you put that all into order, you would have from that very low C with two ledger lines below the bass clef, going all the way up to the very high C, which is two ledger lines above the treble clef. So to give you a demonstration of this, I'm going to cut to a video now and show you what this looks like on the piano. So let me give you an idea of where all those C's are located that I just showed you on the staves and the ledger lines. The middle C, which is the one that was right in between the two staves with the ledger line going through it, is located right here. Now the C that is located within the staff of the bass clef is right here. And the C that is on the two ledger lines below the bass clef is right here. Now the C on the treble clef is located right here. And the C that is two ledger lines above the treble clef is right here. So as you can see, that gets you a pretty decent amount of this piano here. There are still some notes way down here and way up here that you're not going to be able to use within those ledger lines, so you'll have to use more ledger lines to read those notes. We'll talk about how to read more of the notes in a later episode. I'm not sure what the next show's topic will be on for the music theory series that is on here, but if you have any suggestions or anything you want to learn in particular, please post below in the comments. And if not, then I will just pick the next logical thing that I can think of, and I'll make an episode on that. Alright, thanks for watching.